When you're asleep, they're just getting started. John Romano, Dave Palumbo, After Hours.
Welcome back, guys, to After Hours, and this is a very special edition because we are actually on video. And joining me today, as always, is John Romano, my co-host, and the one and only Gregg Valentino.
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
We're going after hours, which means anything goes. You never know what might happen on this show. And John, I want to start off, you guys remember back in the MD days, or actually I think it was actually the beginning of RXMuscle in 2009 when we started the whole thing. You remember Dawn Allison from Canada?
Yeah.
Do you remember when she got married in Vegas?
The GX, yeah.
The GX after knowing him for like never having met him, remember?
Right. Yeah, they met, the first day they met was their wedding day.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're still going strong. And he's writing a book now on the whole situation. So he had contacted me to get some information about when we started RXMuscle and what all the stuff that went on in the beginning days, because that's when we used to do all the crazy stuff, And I remember we went to their wedding, right?
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, it's great.
You're telling me that two people met, and the day they met, they got married?
Great. They were talking online. They had never met each other in person. And they got married having met the day before or something like that.
Who's this, Lee Priest? How many marriages is Lee Priest on now? Holy shit.
I think 3, right? Yeah.
Nah, he's been only
that.
3.
Well, he's been engaged a few hundred times, but he's been only married, I think, 3 times.
No, he's got to be on 4 or 5 by now.
I don't think so. Who was he married to? He was married to Kathy.
Kathy LeFrancois.
The current one.
Then,
and he had one other, right? Didn't he have that girl, Rain or something like that?
Rain.
Right. Kathy LeFrancois, the one he's got now. There was one between Rain and this one.
No, but there was a girlfriend. I don't think there was a marriage, though.
He's on 4 or 5.
Who was he dating back in the day? I remember, back in the 90s. Lori Donnelly, right? Remember?
Was it Lori Donnelly?
Remember Lori Donnelly?
Yeah, I remember her, but I don't know if they were together.
Yeah, they were. They dated. I think they were. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were.
Well, he's your co-host. Ask him.
I will. We talked about it last week. I think, didn't he tell us Tyler 3? Oh, you're gonna try to get him on fine. He might be sleeping now, though.
He's definitely. This is number 4 or 5.
Easily, because I was talking to him. He had kids with a girl he was just with not too long ago, had kids. And I was like, dude, where did you get those fucking kids from? He goes, well, to my wife's, I take care of her,
He has a real daughter. His daughter is actually competing. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's good.
She was cute too, right? Wasn't she a cutie?
Yeah. I'm making him get her on the show so I could talk to her and I can question her about Lee.
Do they know each other?
Yeah, very well. She tells Lee about the guy she bangs and stuff like that.
I know. He told me. I was only kidding. He told me that they have it like that. Like she'll say, yeah, I was with this guy last night. I sucked his dick, but I didn't let him fuck me. And he tells her shit too. He tells her stuff. Well, that's okay because I fucked my girl in the ass last night. They talk like that. Holy.
Hey, it's all about honesty, right? Now, John, what did I make you stop talking about? You were telling us something before the show, and I made you stop.
Oh, you did? Well, yeah, because our best material is off air.
Yeah.
Well, I leaned up with my shirt and cleaned off my lens here, and Greg asked if I was going to pee on the computer, and said I almost was going to because I got to pee like a freaking racehorse today because on the weekend I have my cheat meal. And this weekend I made pizza again, and I ate like an amazing amount of it. And those carbs make me hold water like a freaking camel walking across the desert.
Yeah.
And then right around Monday night, Tuesday afternoon, my body decides to get rid of the 17 gallons of water I'm holding. and I pee like last night I was up 15 times. It's just on and on, and until I'm like dry as a bone again. It's the weirdest thing.
Let me tell you something. Whatever you do, if you eat a pizza pie, and I've done this before, don't test your blood sugars. For some reason, when I eat pizza, my blood sugars will stay elevated for the whole day. I mean, it's I don't know what it is about pizza. Only pizza. I could eat a pint of ice cream, although I don't eat milk. I'll have like the fake ice cream with like sugar in it. And my blood sugars are fine, but if I have pizza, it must be the combination of the carbs and the fat or something like that. And the dairy. It just fucks up my
People don't
blood
believe
sugar.
that you eat pizza, Dave. There's people out there saying, Dave Palumbo does not eat pizza. That's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Believe me.
They don't believe that.
Once you have kids, Greg, you eat pizza all the time. You don't have a choice.
How can you?
You know what? You eat what they don't.
How can you possibly be from New York and not eat pizza?
That's right.
I agree. And Italian, too.
And Italian, right?
But
Exactly.
not for nothing, John. You got to get that shit checked, because you know why? That's how I found that I was diabetic, because I kept fucking urinating every 10 fucking minutes. I'd be in the car peeing in bottles. I used to do the Iron Mag Lab show, and I used to have a fucking. Oh, I wish I had it here. I have a soap fucking bottle, like a fucking, like not dishwashing, fuck. You wash your clothes in like Era or Extra, whatever the shit.
Yeah, laundry detergent bottles.
And I would use laundry. Why couldn't I spit that out? But a laundry detergent bottle, because it's like it's got a big hole, and I'm pretty good down there. But anyway, I'd sit here and I'd be talking, doing the Iron Mag Lab show, and I'd be pissing I'd have to piss 3 or 4 times.
Why
and I'm
are you
like, what the
peeing so
fuck?
much? You a diabetic?
Yeah.
How high
I
were your blood sugars?
Oh Christ, my A1C was 11.
What?
Yeah, it was 11.
Normal's like 5.4.
And my blood sugar was like 3 something.
Oh my! Oh, so you're really a diabetic?
No, my A1C is like 3.2, and my blood sugar is like 90.
Oh, well, you don't have problems.
you're lucky,
That's
man.
perfect.
No, I'm fine.
So, Greg, what do they got you on, insulin?
No, he has me on metformin.
And what are your blood sugars on metformin?
I just watched your show on metformin.
I know it's not good for building muscle.
No, I know. But you know what? At our age, who the fuck wants to build muscle? I just want to live. You know what I mean?
So what's your blood sugars now? I bet they're not that much better.
No, it actually, well, I started like really ketoing it, and like watching my carbs and everything, and it went right down to like 5.6 or something like that.
All right.
And he said to me, "What the fuck have you been doing?" I said, "I just cut out the carbs." But then I'm back doing it, I'm back eating that. Who the fuck could never have a carbohydrate? You see these guys like Thomas
The funny thing
DeLauer,
is you never even used growth hormone.
What's that?
You never used growth hormone, right?
I never used growth hormone in my life.
Yeah, so
Andrew
you can't even blame that,
No, I blame it's bad. My father had diabetes.
Oh.
And my father had the type 1.
You need insulin. You're going to need insulin, my friend. I guarantee it.
Well, I'll take it. I mean, if the doctor tells me to do it, I don't mind doing it.
You got to call Colette up and have Colette dose you, give you the right protocol.
Yeah, I know. I tell everybody she's a genius with that,
Yeah, well, she's a type 1. But you need a long-acting insulin is what you need.
Yep.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're too high. Because you don't want to, you never get eat another carbohydrate the rest of your life? What are you,
Never
crazy?
going to happen. Never happen.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody.
See, you got to take insulin. You just don't produce enough. That's the problem.
That is. I was watching your show. I always watch all your shows.
Yeah.
But I was watching that with and I saw the one where you did the interview with Colette, and then Colette was talking about she doesn't like the fact that doctors put people on metformin.
Yeah.
She believes she should go directly to insulin.
Yeah, because it doesn't solve any problems. Metformin just is it's like a Band-Aid on the wound, but it's not solving the reason why you're having high blood sugars, which is that your pancreas can't produce enough insulin. So you need to take some insulin to give your pancreas a rest is really what it amounts to. You know what? This is what happens, guys, and this has nothing to do with bodybuilding. This has to do with getting old. You guys are, John, you're going to be 59 next week, right?
Yep.
Greg, you're already 59.
I'm already 59. I've been 59 since August 5th.
He's been 59 for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. Shit goes wrong. You can't even control it. You could live a healthy lifestyle. You could work out. We're really a victim of our genetics in a sense. So if your parents had it, you're probably going to be predisposed to it, and you got to be aware of that because you don't want to be caught blindsided and have to get to get a limb cut off. God forbid.
Shit.
The only 2 things that bother me is my eyesight, because I need glasses to read, and it bugs the shit out of me because I never have my fucking glasses, and my prostate, is enlarged from taking tests.
Right. Well, you know what you got to do? You got to take finasteride.
Well, yeah, but they got this surgery now called the Eurolift or Euro.
It's the Roto-Rooter surgery.
Well, yeah, they pull the.
They bore it out. It's like they take a drill and they drill it out. Yeah.
It looks
Nice.
like they pull it away from the urethra. So.
Yeah,
But I believe masturbation.
Drill it out.
You need to jerk off or something
That
like that.
doesn't do it. All that does is you get a retrograde ejaculation. It goes into your bladder because you.
Well, you know what?
Are you serious?
What I did was, I had been taking finasteride since the early 2000s for hair loss.
Right.
Now it didn't grow any hair back, but it kind of stopped my hair loss. But I always rationalized it because I'm like, all right, even if it doesn't make me grow any new hair, I'm protecting my prostate because my dad had that Roto-Rooter surgery, and I didn't want to have to deal with any of that. So I felt if I kept my DHT levels very low and estrogen in control, that because it's not really DHT as it is high estrogen, low DHT. That's why I recommend that people use my Testolized product that I make because it balances those two hormones. It keeps estrogen lower and it keeps DHT lower. Because really, you want higher testosterone, you want lower DHT and estrogen. But as we get older, we aromatize more to estrogen and we convert more to DHT. And that's why we have problems. It's not that you're not producing as much testosterone. It's just that it's converting to other shit. And that's when you get issues. So you got to control that.
For 59, those are the only two issues I got. So
right. But that's
everybody has the eye thing where you can't see or none of that shit.
That is the most annoying.
I know, but you know what I did, John? I'm going to thank my friend Justin Holst, he's
my friend too. He sent me the contacts. You put one in one eye, you leave one out.
Oh no, I didn't do that. You see, I wear contacts, so they have these contacts now that are, I guess, like bifocal contacts. I thought half the contact was one and half the. It's not. You put it in your eye, and somehow your brain adjusts to it. And while I can't see perfectly close, I see it way, way, way better close, and I can see far away now with the same lens.
The thing is, I could not tolerate that fucking thing in my eye.
Well, you're not used to it. I wear contacts anyway, so it was no big deal for me.
I went a month. How long does it take to get used to?
Well, I've been wearing contacts for 30 years,
nope.
So I don't have to get used to anything.
I tried it for a month, and it was bugged the shit out of me.
Yeah, some people can't handle stuff in their eyes. Luckily, thank the Lord, I can handle it.
Fucking nuts! I
can't either. I won't do it. No way. Hey, but I wanted to ask you something. We were just talking about the diabetic shit there, and get a limb cut off. What the hell happened when Flex Wheeler? Did that really happen to him?
Yeah. Let me tell you this. So I just got off the air interviewing Sean Ray. That show will probably be up before our show even airs. And Sean talked to Flex directly, and I guess there was a vascular issue in his leg he was having for quite a while now. He's been battling it for almost 3 years. And if you remember 3 months ago, he was in the hospital for like 3 weeks?
Yeah.
I guess he had gone in for that. They were going to try, because he was in excruciating pain. They were supposed to try to bypass or something like that, the vein that was blocked or the vascular problem. And they put him in a coma for 10 days. Yeah, because he didn't want to deal with the pain. And I guess the surgery wasn't a success. So he had to make a decision. Hey, do I want to be in pain the rest of my life, excruciating pain, or if they obviously amputate the limb, you're not going to be in pain. Plus, there's no risk of it getting infected or if it getting gangrenous, I guess. And he had to make look. That's the toughest decision you could possibly make, right? Cut my leg off, right? That's.
Oh my God!
For a bodybuilder, holy crap!
Yeah. So it's under the knee, so it's not above the knee,
So what happens is then the artery, because it's deeper, takes the blood in, but it can't come out because the veins are collapsed.
I don't know what the problem was exactly, but there was definitely a vascular issue there. What caused it, we don't know. People are saying kidney. It has nothing to do with his kidneys. I mean, obviously.
Right.
I read an article that online, you never believe anything you read online, but I did read an article. It was pretty scientifically based because he had and this is completely, conjecture.
Yeah.
That the drug that they have to give you to combat the host versus donor syndrome when you have an organ transplanted can cause diabetic type.
Oh, really? Wow.
Vascular issues.
I didn't know that.
This is what the article said.
It's possible.
So I don't know if it's possible that he's still you have to take that medication for life when you have an organ transplant.
Sure.
So I don't know that maybe that might have been. I haven't talked to Flex yet, so I don't know if that may have been the cause. But that was there were actually a couple of cases where the people actually were quoted that said, I had a kidney transplant and I actually got diabetes from the drug that they gave me to combat host versus donor syndrome, and it caused, vascular issues in my extremities.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's possible. You know what I found disgusting is that whether you like Flex or not, there are people like writing online, he deserved it, good for him. Can you believe what kind of sickos are there out there? People are really fucked up, aren't they?
That's fucked up. I'm telling you, it's really bad. Our sport's fucked up. It's
terrible.
People are fucked up. Look, he wanted to beat me up in a hotel lobby, but I would never wish that on him at all.
Never.
You know what it is? You know what it is? These guys, these keyboard warriors, they're they live home in their mother's basement on their computer. Those guys. These are the ones who in real life would get punched in the mouth if they ever said anything like they say in online. But because they have this, computer screen to hide behind, they have courage that they would never have in real life.
Yeah.
So they say the most outrageous things to, they've said it to me, Greg, they've said
shit
about you. Dave, they've talked about you with the Columboism and everything. Guaranteed any of these motherfuckers would leave my side with a lump the size of a fucking pot roast over their eye.
But they'll even talk about your kids. That's what I don't want.
Yeah, your kids, your parents.
They've attacked my kids when I was younger. Even on the MD boards, a few times, a few guys would say shit. They boot them out of there.
And because they're able to call out and insult guys who are much bigger and stronger than them, who would pummel them in real life, they have this sense of invincibility because they can hide behind their freaking computer.
Right.
So they are absolutely disgusting human beings. To say anything like that, you got to understand, a bodybuilder has spent his life making money off the beauty of his physique. I know Flex personally. I know what he went through when his kidney transplants and the complications and all the scars he had. His wife got all those freaking tattoos to cover everything. The devastation that led to now have to deal with getting a limb hacked off. Are you kidding me? And then you got these fucking morons that would disparage him like that online. Is absolutely disgusting. These people, God willing, they walk outside, they get hit by a fucking bus because that would even be good for them. I'm telling you.
Now, you know what it is? Yeah, but, I mean, they say this shit. You wonder, a fucking dude, are you for real? I don't care if he's a bodybuilder or not, just a human being. Forget it. You don't want the guy's foot. Was his whole foot gone, Dave, or is it? I mean,
they cut off his leg from right beneath the knee, so he still has his knee, which makes it much more functional. But he lost the whole bottom portion of his leg. So
like on that video in Mexico, you sent me.
Well, yeah, I was just telling Sean about the Dan Duchesne's girlfriend, right? Remember, have the calf implant? She had to have both legs cut off, right?
Both. Yep. Necrosis. She got immediately. Yep.
It's crazy.
How did she have? What do you mean? She had calf implants? What did the guy?
She went to Mexico to get calf implants, and they botched it up like they do everything. And he had an emergency, taxi cab ride from Tijuana to San Diego to get her to hospital. And it was too late. There was just too much damage, and she had to have both legs amputated.
The problem with your legs, the lower legs, is that the vasculature and the blood flow there is very limited in everyone. I know that if I nail my shin against something, which I do a lot because I'm very accident prone, and I cut that cut will take a long time to heal. I always have to put a Band-Aid on it. I have to make sure I put antibiotic cream on it because for some reason blood flow down there is not so good. And I'm sure with big bodybuilders it's worse because they're so heavy too. It's hard for the blood to get down there and it's hard for the blood to get back up. So, what I recommend when people do damage anything or they get an infection in their lower leg or their calves is put on compression stockings. You go to CVS, you get the compression stockings, they go up to your knees. They make them in black now so you don't have to look like you're 90 years old. And you just wear them around, especially at night, because what it does is it milks the muscles and the veins and it helps return the blood to the heart. Okay, because if you don't have good circulation there, that stuff ferments and the bacteria divide there and you wind up getting massive infection and then you're screwed. Then you can lose your leg. So compression stockings are a must when you get any kind of infection or any kind of injury down there. Even just bruising, a really bad bruise to your shin bone or your foot can also result in that.
But didn't you say that you knew some guy from Connecticut that was taking bad shots or something like that, and he had his arm cut off, and he died or something? Or?
No, he died. Yeah, there was a guy in Connecticut getting ready for a show. Good talent too. This was years ago. And he refused to take antibiotics because he didn't want to hold water for a show, like as if the infection wasn't making him hold water as it is. And by the time, it got too late, they went to the hospital because he was so sick and he was so septicemic, they couldn't do anything for him. He died, the guy. It wasn't even a matter, they were going to cut his arm off, but I think they might have, and it didn't even help. The guy died. I mean, young kid too, just ridiculous, stupid.
I know a kid who got into a motorcycle accident. Nothing happened. He just got a lot of road rash, and I mean, not a lot, but enough. And he ended up getting a staph infection. He didn't go to he didn't clean the wound well or whatever. He ended up getting a staph infection. The fucking guy died. Staph is terrible, man. You get a staph infection, you're done.
Yeah, it's really nasty. I wanted to mention also, we were talking about all this unfortunate stuff. Did you see this guy, Dan Alexander?
Yeah.
30-year-old men's classic physique pro?
He looked, how did he
die? He died. The guy dropped
died.
dead of a heart attack. I mean, terrible. What's going on with the sport? It's nuts.
Do you know what it's not our generation. It's not the old guard from the 80s, the 90s. It's the newer guys, the Dallas McCarvers and the that whole.
Well, they're just dying earlier. Our guys are dying in their 40s and 50s. These guys are dropping in their 30s and 20s. It's scary.
Yeah, they're dying.
What do you attribute it to? What do you think it is? Do you think it's because there's so many different chemicals? I mean, what do you think it is?
I think it's number one, bad genetics. I don't think, obviously you're not seeing 25 guys dropping, but
right.
I think number one, you're a genetic time bomb, you don't know it. And then I think they're pushing the envelope much harder on the drug side of things. So if you have a genetic predisposition, it really accelerates it much, much faster. And I think that's a combination. It's a deadly combination. I think people don't see the warning signs. I think they think I'm 20 years old or I'm 30 years old, I'm invincible, there's no way I'm getting a heart attack, right? So they feel all the symptoms, but they think, oh, I just had a hard workout at the gym, I'll go home and I'll rest, and then they never wake up. So, I mean...
But what 20-year-old, what guy in their 20s is getting regular blood work and EKGs? It doesn't happen.
No, because they don't even think they need to. But you know what? I mean, Dallas McCarver was an unnecessary death because he actually had symptoms. He actually had a mini heart attack on that stage at the Australia Arnold show. And
is that the one where he
didn't follow up? He could have gone and he could have gotten a cardiac CT. He would have seen a blockage. They could have put a stent in there, and he would have been alive today. So that was unnecessary. And I always said I hope a lot of people took notice. And I know a lot of people went out and got cardiac CTs after we talked about that. I had a cardiac doctor on the show. We talked about that as well. And it's such a simple test, John. It literally takes like 10 minutes. They inject some dye into you. They put you in a CT machine. They take a few pictures, and then they know what's going on, if you have blockages or anything like that. And that's very avoidable. The thing that isn't avoidable sometimes is when you have these arrhythmias. People have these weird arrhythms. I have an arrhythmia. I didn't even know I had it. Thank God nothing ever happened to me, And, you could die of an arrhythmia like at any time. Your heart just starts beating crazy out of whack, and it can't recover from it.
How do you find that out, though?
What?
How do you find that out? Like, how do you find out about your arrhythmia?
Arrhythmias are tougher because sometimes you don't see them on EKGs, and my arrhythmia, believe it or not, was exercise induced. So like when I would, I went and tried, they do a rhythm test. What they do is they'll actually bring you in the room and they inject you with basically adrenaline, and they watch your heart go crazy. It's not, look, I had one while I was asleep that they couldn't produce the rhythm, so they did one while I was awake. It is not a good feeling when your heart is beating out of your chest, and they couldn't duplicate the rhythm on it. What they're trying to do is simulate exercise at a high level in a hospital setting where they can monitor what's going on.
Why didn't they put you on a treadmill?
What?
Why didn't they have you? I ran a treadmill. They made me run the treadmill.
Yeah, they did that once with me. I broke the treadmill. They said, get off the treadmill. I said, but what? We didn't figure anything out. They're like, get up. You broke out $10,000 machine here. Get off of it.
Holy shit.
So,
Well, what about, wait, with Dallas McCarver, didn't they found cancer in his thyroid too, right?
there was something in his thyroid, but that's not why he died. So, I mean.
No, but I'm saying eventually he would have had to do something about that.
You know, more people than you think have like nodules on their thyroid glands, and a lot of times, I know a few bodybuilders that have had thyroid cancer removed, and it doesn't spread. It's usually a pretty simple solution. They come in, they take your thyroid gland out, and they put you on, synthetic thyroid replacement for the rest of your life. I think that is very genetic because I know that the few people that I know who had it, their parents had it too. So once again, you can't escape your genetics. We could try. I wanted to bring another topic up. Speaking about genetics, John, you'll find this interesting. Now, do you know that you could buy these kits now where you could actually change the genetics of your dog? Have you seen
what?
Netflix has some kind of special on this. It's like, have you heard of the technology called CRISPR?
No.
What CRISPR does is they create a viral vector that could actually go in and snip out segments of DNA in someone in every cell in your body and insert a new gene. So they're doing like this. They have the ability to snip the myostatin gene out, I believe, in dogs and put something in its place, and these dogs get super muscular. Changes the whole genetics of the dog.
Isn't that what they did to the Belgian blue cows?
I think the Belgian blues were just genetically engineered like that. I think they were just they just popped up like that.
But they can't live long. Look at ligers, like tiger ligers, half lion.
Yeah, but those are hybrid animals. That's why.
Yeah, but they can't even when they're that big though. Look at my friend had a pit bull. He used to fucking give him steroids. He was so jacked and shit. And one day, first of all, it was so mean that his own kids, they had to keep the dog in the cellar because the fucking dog would want to kill everybody.
Yeah.
And one day he came home, and the fucking thing was he saw blood all over the place. He goes out and he goes into his back porch, and the dog was eating its own leg. It ate its own leg off.
What?
And he said to me that means it's cancer. I don't know where he got that from, but he said that means the dog had cancer. It's like a thing of dogs know or so. So he wound up shooting his dog right there because his dog started getting crazy,
It's crazy. But I'm saying, well, my point is that if you can do this to your pets now, buy these kits so that you can alter them, it's only a matter of time before people are doing it to themselves. These bodybuilders inject crazy amounts of drugs. Never in my wildest dreams would I ever consider putting a viral vector into my body to change my DNA, because once you do that, you're not changing it back. You know that, right?
But now, Dave, what are they doing? What viral vector are they introducing to the animal? What are they changing?
They're snipping out the myostatin gene so that the animal grows uncontrolled. So it gets so these dogs become super hypermuscular.
Oh my God!
But they can't walk though. They can't run.
They don't care if they don't want them to walk. It's easy to take care of them if they're not running around, right?
But that's like people. They don't realize. Dave, when you were at your biggest, I know when I was at my biggest, I was the least athletic I've ever been, and I was always an athlete. And I know you ran track.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when you were fucking 325, I'm sure, if you ran 10 feet, you'd be like, what I mean? Am I right or wrong?
I ran up a flight of steps to make the Long Island Railroad once. I thought I was going to have a heart attack,
They don't realize that.
I was sweating so profusely for 20 minutes afterwards. It looked like I just jumped in a pool.
Me too, bro. I'd sit and watch a movie, and my girlfriend would be looking at me like, what's with that fucking breathing? Like,
yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? It's not good, though. You're not as athletic. You lose your athleticism. I tell everybody.
But what's going to happen when people permanently alter their genes? I mean, will it be transmissible to the next generation?
That's a good question.
Could it cause cancer? I mean, it's scary. You think that steroids are not the final frontier, my friends. Genetic manipulation is, and that's coming. It might be here already,
Interleukin 6.
To get interleukin 6, myostatin annihilation it's going to be,
Yeah,
well, we've been talking about myostatin negativity for years.
I think that they're there. I know that they have the technology now to change this. I'm telling you, it's this series on Netflix. It's a whole bunch. I think there's like 8 shows or something like that. It's all about genetic manipulation and everything like that, and how the technology works. I haven't watched it. One of our fans sent it to me. I'm gonna watch it if I in all my free time. But it's very interesting because this really is in 10, 15 years we're gonna look back. We're gonna be like steroids were like steroids were like the ephedra of the speed world. People who do crystal meth look at ephedra like it's like fucking crap. I'm sure. So
there was a story I read that this East German.
Oh, we got a call coming in. Coming in. After hours, never know what could happen.
All right, I'll save this for later.
Hold on. Who is it?
It's Jimmy.
Jim Tamagini. What's up?
What's up? How you doing, brother?
Jim Tamagini was on the show last week. He was the guy who was working with Amin Ali to get off of some prescription narcotics, using Ibogaine. And you also happen to be I guess you could say a friend from childhood of Paul DeMeo and Mike Matarazzo. You told a lot of stories. And then you, obviously Gregg came on and told his stories, and I didn't know you were going to call in, but you said you wanted to confront Gregg about a few things.
Well, not so much confront him, but more clarify a few things. Because at the time, you can attest to this, Dave, when I came on the show, there was talk about Ibogaine. And so I didn't know there was going to be any content, so I didn't give in any real prior thought to talking about Paul and Mike. And then Gregg heard that, and my understanding, Gregg, is that you wanted to come on because you felt somewhat aggrieved at the fact that so much of the content was about Paul being a drug addict.
Yeah, I just felt like I love Paul. He was a great guy, and I felt like I know he was definitely a drug addict. We know, there's no bones about that. But I just felt like I wanted people to know that Paul DeMeo there was more to Paul DeMeo than just like being a heroin addict, which he was. I never disputed that. I didn't want you to think like I'm challenging you. You live with Paul. Up there. I only know Paul. Was good friends with him. I used to talk on the phone with him and everything right up to the end. But you obviously lived with him. But I don't. I just felt like Paul. There was another side to Paul that people. I felt like we were looking at Paul like it's just this pathetic drug addict. You know what I mean? Yet he was a good guy, and I thought he was a great bodybuilder. And I felt like when him and Jill broke up, I felt like that was, and he started getting into all that brouhaha out there in L.A. I just felt like that's what really fucked him over even more.
Yeah, no doubt the breakup with Jill had a lot to do with it. I mean, the double date that I go on with him and my girlfriend Lisa at the time, and my girlfriend and his girlfriend were friends. I just, from my perspective, and we're looking at it from different perspectives. That's what it is. And maybe together we can get a full story. With the more you get different bits and pieces, and you get a more accurate story. Right. And I just, from my perspective, it wasn't that breakup that really turned him into a drug addict. I mean, but from what I saw, he started to do Nubane, which a lot of us did.
I know.
And he didn't know that it was addictive, just like Amin had mentioned the other day. And a lot of people didn't know that. And when he got that feeling, once you get those receptor sites tickled, then it's like, it's a different ballgame. And I also saw that he somehow talked himself into the fact that he needed, and if this can help anybody out there that gets this crazy fucking thought in their head that they need opiates or any kind of drug, whether it be pre-workout stimulants or anything, to actually get through a workout, whether you need that. With him, it seemed to be, because he made the comment to me, do I have any perks to do cardio? And it didn't dawn on me that you would do perks to do cardio. And that's what he had talked himself into. And I don't know if you had any experience with him with that, but he actually talked himself into that, and he would have better cardio sessions when he was high on Percocets. And he always referred to it as a handful. It wasn't just you have 5, or there was no number. It was a handful.
That's typical bodybuilders. So everything we do in excess. I've never done an opiate. I've never done any of that. That shit. I've never drank, done any of that. So I don't. To me, I don't understand. One time I had 2 surgeries on my hand. I took the doctor gave me what do you call it? Tylenol with codeine, whatever that is, right? And I'm telling you, it made my eyes cross. I was like, fuck that, because I like to feel up and awake. But I wasn't. I hope you don't think I was like attacking you or any of that stuff. I was trying to say that I feel that story behind Paul. I believe, though, if he would have stayed with Jill, kept his shit together, she was a good girl. You know what I mean? Paul was naive. I was telling Dave one time at the USA, I was in his hotel room, and he was throwing up, and I said, "What's you okay? And what, did he get a virus or something?" And he said, "No, I didn't bring a cooler, so I have my chicken sitting out in a plate and a fucking air conditioner was just blowing on it like this." And I told him, "There's an ice machine right down the hall. Go get a fucking plastic bag or something and throw the fucking, use the ice, whatever." But, I just, and Jill was with him at the time. And I just thought, like, I like Paul. He was just such an innocent guy. But I know maybe that makes you say, wait a minute, he wasn't so innocent because he was, I get that. But I wanted to, I just feel like he got so caught up. You know, you see guys change. They date a girl and maybe the girl changes them. He started going out with who, Dave.
You already named it, Denise Paglia.
I never said that. But anyway, he started doing all that stuff, and then he got all into this, like, shit, and he kind of got really crazy. I mean, he used to call my friend up, and I think my friend was giving him, some Scadol. You know what I mean? Because you know how the drug addicts are. Oh, I got to get my car out of impound. I have no money. Meanwhile, I don't even have a car. You know what I'm saying? Right? He was doing stuff like that. I know he told us that his father, threw him out of the house because he was taking stuff from the family. And it was, my friend Alex really wanted to help him.
Yeah, well, there was a couple other stories, but I don't want to let this go without any controversy at all. That wouldn't be good for ratings now, Dave, would it?
No, of course not.
And I think I take umbrage with the term a lot, because when I went back and watched, you said, me and Paul, we hung out a lot. We talked on the phone a lot, and I can't not say that you didn't. I wouldn't know what you did. I really wouldn't. I would say that I did a lot, because even if I wasn't friends with him, I saw him in the gym every day.
Right.
So I would actually see him a lot.
You saw him a lot more than I did. I can tell you that. Right.
Right. So I mean, we're in agreement on that. But when however you define a lot, it seems to me to use that term, and then to, on top of that, not have anything except a moldy poster from 1991 to show that you're friends with him.
Okay.
I got scrapbooks. I got
do you want me to get pictures of me and Paul together? Do you want me to get that?
Get the pictures, Greg.
I mean,
intimate. I don't want to see.
I got pictures of me and Arnold together. That don't mean I hang out with him.
No,
I'm not. See, you're taking it personal. I'm not. I didn't mean it personal to you. You obviously know him better than I do. Okay.
Like, this is like the crew. I told you how small his bedroom was. Him and Donnie, right? Donnie is a lawyer. They both stayed in that room. When I referred to it as the size of Dave's bathroom, I was not lying. Look at how did that back fit in the door of that room? So you tell me. I couldn't fit in the room with him and Donnie together.
I got the same underwear, by the way.
Do you? You mean the actual same underwear?
Yeah, he gave them to me. I'm kidding you. No. Listen, I think you took it like I'm attacking you, or I just wanted the people to hear that Paul was, I felt like we were making him look like he was
these
just
glasses. This
was
a
that?
present. He bought me these glasses. This was a present that he gave me.
Those look like glasses that he
bought
wears.
these too.
They look like gargoyles.
They are. That's exactly what they are.
Wow.
That was his favorite glasses. I think he wore these on the cover with Denise Paglia.
I was going to say, they look like the glasses he wore on the cover.
Yeah, he did.
Because Arnold wore them in
At the same time.
Yeah.
I think he blew some of his metrics money on it.
Hey, you know Brian Reagan?
I don't think I do.
All right.
I remember Brian, yeah.
Yeah. He was a good friend of Matarazzo's and DeMayo's. He was from Boston.
He was from Boston. I mean, it's such a familiar name, but he's not somebody that.
Did he die, John?
No.
Wait, who'd you ask for? John O'Regan?
Brian Reagan.
Brian Reagan.
No, I thought you meant
He was married to Diamond from the American Gladiators.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know him as for.
But anyway, I think you took it personally. Like I didn't mean it in a personal way for you. I just wanted to show the other side of Paul, and I believe his downfall. I believe that when look, whether he fucked around with New Bane, and a lot of guys do. You know what I'm saying? I never took that shit because I don't know, man. I don't like anything that controls my brain. But
I didn't take it personally to the extent that that I felt like aggrieved, or you were talking anything, because you prefaced everything as a gentleman. You said that you didn't know me, that you were here to attack me. So I did not take it like that at all. In fact, I put it this way: did you go, if you recall, you probably wouldn't recall if you did, go to the 1987 Nationals in Atlantic City? That's why I asked, because it was in your backyard, being in Atlantic City.
That's the one Sean Ray won.
I wasn't at that. No.
Oh, I think Sean Ray won it.
Yeah,
I think
right.
Sean Ray won that. And we were there because a little crew of ours went because Joey Grossi, who owned the gym, and my father was Joey and Johnny's attorney. And so I was going to Boston College Law School at the time. I was opening the gym up for Johnny and Joey at 6 in the morning, and going to law school and then coming back at night and help clean and stuff. And so we went because Joey won the lightweights, and so I was just curious if you were at that show, because I knew it was so close to where you probably lived, and I don't even know if you lived in New York at the time.
No, I always lived in New York. I stayed in L.A. for like 1980, 81, like that. That when John and everybody was out there. But no, I'm a New York guy all the way. You know what I mean?
It would have been a blast to have met you then, because you're a fucking madman. And we would have ripped the fucking place a new asshole.
Oh, we would have had a great time.
It was crazy as it was.
We're all the same. You know what I mean? It's just I didn't. I love Paul. I always try to give him homage in every one of my shows. I just say, listen, just pay the guy respect. I just felt like he got a bum rap. You know what I mean? The way he handled his own life, it's his fault. It's not what I mean? Like he could have stopped a lot of shit. I know he drove his family crazy. That's what he told me, My friend Alex was really trying to help him. I think my friend Alex kind of gave him too much money. That doesn't help when you give a drug addict money, And I know that you guys obviously, he lives, with you guys up there.
Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt. Jim, you tell me that Matarazzo, you told me a story, Greg, about Matarazzo mowing the lawn. The mayor used to watch him mow the lawn.
Yes.
Jim, did you tell me that there was no lawn where Matarazzo lived?
Listen, he lived in an area where it was, I'm not saying that there was no grass.
When they were young, he was like a teenage boy. What's his name? Paul DeMayo told me. He goes, I watched him. He said he had the biggest calves when he was mowing the lawn. That's what he told me. He said he went around the block twice.
And the reason I think that story is borderline insane is because the best seat in the fucking house to see Mike's calves would have been on the seated calf machine next to him every day in the gym, not stalking his calves.
No. Jim, I think you got what I said wrong. I said when they were young, they didn't know each other. He told me they were kind of rivals.
Before.
Yes, yeah.
I got that story right. I thought you were talking about.
No, this is when he heard
with us going to the gym.
No. He told me when they were young. He was a teenager. It was like a young kid, teenager, maybe 16, 17. Maybe they were like rivals, like, both played football, one box, And he said, I heard there was this kid that everybody used to tell me about. So he said we drove by his house. He said, I saw this kid outside, he's mowing a lawn, and he got these giant calves. And he said, I couldn't believe it. I went around, he told me he always had those calves, So that's, I didn't mean when they were later on in the gym.
I mean, it was the word teenager that was confusing me.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a teenager till you're 19 years old.
Yeah, he was a young teenager.
High school in like 84 or 85. Right. And we were all going to the gym together around the time that he got out of high school.
Right.
So that would have been, it all depends on how you define teenager. We're talking about 13, 14, 15, or we're talking 17, 18.
He told me that they were like, you know how you hear like, yo, dude, like let's say you're a boxer, right? And you hit a kid in the next town's a boxer. Yo, dude, you got to see this kid over there, and the next town. You know what I mean? And, you hear all this stuff, and you almost create like a rivalry. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, dude, bro, I don't know, bro. DeMayo's built, but I don't know that kid. My Matarazzo, my boy Matarazzo, like that kind of thing. And he was young, he told me. I think he was in high school, and he said he drove. That's what he told me. I mean, unless he was bullshitting me. Yeah. I have no reason. If I was going to make up a story, I could have made up a way better one than that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So,
I could have made up a way better one.
I think we could all agree that basically DeMayo was a polarizing figure in our industry, and I think we're all just saddened by the fact that he just never really realized his potential, and we lost him so early.
Right.
That's really what it amounted to.
And I was upset that anything that I said, because like we talked about, Dave, that I didn't talk to you before that episode.
No, not at all. Nope.
So I didn't know what you were going to ask me. So when you started asking me about Paul and Mike, I was kind of like,
well, you sent me the pictures, so I knew you knew them. That's why I thought it was definitely relevant to bring up.
The reason I sent those pictures is that's what I sent to Amin to try and get him to think that I was somewhat relevant.
You wanted to get on the show, yeah, but it worked. It worked good because you really did have an understanding and a friendship with Paul, and that was something that I had never heard a lot of those stories. So for me, that was it was very entertaining.
More. There's literally a billion more. But I was honored that he would give me a picture, and he gave me those glasses in the picture, and you showed the picture. Yeah. And he says, in the picture says, Jim, you were my inspiration when I started at goals. Now you're one of my best friends. That means a lot today. At the time, when he was coming up, it didn't mean as much. It still meant a lot to me, but now it means a real lot to me that he's gone. Because I'm sad by the fact he's gone. I'm sickened by the fact he's gone. And I'm sick with myself if I said anything to lead anyone to disrespect. I just didn't know what I was going to be asked.
Right.
And so I was just trying to answer.
Fine.
No, I didn't.
I got to segue. I got to go back to John Romano here for a minute, because John was about. You could hang on the phone, Jim, with us and bullshit. John, go back to that story you were about to tell before.
I forgot what it was.
Me too.
He needs to shave again by now.
Because we're coming to the end of the After Hours podcast, so I want to give John the last word. What?
I don't know. I don't have one. This was, I just want to. I guess it's a comment an overall comment on this. We are, as a community, very tight knit. And when one of us has a problem, when one of us gets sick, when one of us dies, it affects us all a lot, And Paul, I was friends with Paul. I knew him in Venice very well. I mean, I was friends with Mike. All of those guys. We were all, at that point in time, Greg, you know how things were back in Venice. Right. We were all close.
Yes, we were.
And when something bad happens to one of us, the vitriol that comes at us from people who are on the fringe, who are not really one of us, is really disheartening, And stories like this about people say, "Oh, I knew him and I didn't," he did it, and it's all fucking bullshit. They didn't know anybody, And I don't know why we become targets for these people, and it just really sucks because. Out of all the athletes that are out there, we put it out there. We wear ourselves on our sleeves. We talk about drugs. We talk about relationship problems. We talk about, all of the issues. We're put it out there. And to get attacked for it.
We use our real names too, by the way.
Yeah, we do.
We're not Venom 1, 2, 3.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Good point. We put it out there, and it really sucks when people who are not in our world, who cast aspersions our way for what we are, who we are, how we live our lives. It's really hurtful to a lot of people, and unfortunately, there's nothing you're going to do about it because people are fucking assholes, and they're hell bent on proving it. So, that's my statement for all of this.
The take-home message, though, I think, John, is we have to celebrate the lives of the people who are still with us. We can remember the DeMayos and the Matarazzos and the Gregg Kovacs and all the guys we lost, but there's guys like Flex Wheeler who's still with us, even though he had obviously an unfortunate setback with the leg amputation. But he's still with us, so we can still enjoy him, and we can still obviously, learn from him and hear his stories, and just keep the legacy going. Because I think if you don't know the history of the sport, you're doomed to repeat history. I mean, we hear that all the time, right? And I don't want to see any more 20-year-old guys dropping dead, or 30-year-old kids dropping dead, or guys getting caught on drugs and doing overdosing because they're making the same mistakes of guys that happened years ago. So that's why we talk about these stories, because these guys are legends, but also a lot of these legends have succumbed to their own unfortunate, insecurities maybe, whatever you want to call them, why people would do drugs, or why people have, health issues, or why people don't take care of themselves. Guys, learn from this. That's what it's all about. And Jim, I thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Greg, of course, always great talking to you. And John, you know what? We'll be back next week again with another edition.
Jim, no shade, man, here.
Of RX Muscles.
No shade. Everything's good. I just, I always just try to give Paul, it's just remember the guy. I want people to remember him, for the guy he was. He had the monkey on his back.
Exactly right. These guys should be remembered
for the guy they were.
How great they were and and what they contributed. Mike Matarazzo was the nicest guy in the entire world. Paul DeMeo was the absolute impeccable human being. He was the good friend. He was a good-hearted, good-natured, good guy.
But I agree with Jim. Though. Paul did it to himself, whereas Mike Matarazzo had no hand in his own fate. Am I right or wrong?
But these jerk-offs still, say this shit. Mike would, because all drugs and that is so stupid and ignorant.
Well, like Dave said, he had a genetic. I believe Dave was right. He had a genetic. We're talking Matarazzo had a genetic disorder. It was a time bomb. It was going to happen.
Family history.
Right.
His father died of the same thing.
Father died exactly.
Yeah. Exact same thing. Right.
Too.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you can do. So if you got a monkey on your back, you're out there and you have. You got a drug problem, you're taking them fucking opiates, or you're using excuses for taking Oxycontins, which I don't understand. I never took them. But go get help, man. That's all I can tell you. Don't make excuses. Go get help.
Yeah. Greg, let me ask you a question before we go. Do you still have that roll of toilet paper in your sock?
Always. Not now because I'm in my house. But I'll go, yeah.
You still travel with the toilet paper?
I did it, dude. I go to Generation. I just filmed with Generation Iron yesterday, right? I did, I'm in their next movie. I did the whole thing with them. And bro, I brought my own toilet paper because you go in that fucking bathroom. First of all, you got to use the key to get in there.
Yeah.
Second, and the key never works, so you're out there like this. And they never have fucking toilet paper. That's a motherfucker, bro. I feel like I'm at Yankee Stadium. You go into the hall and there's no toilet paper.
Is it a full roll?
So what do you, like if you shit in the toilet bowl, Greg, and there's no toilet paper, what do you use, like a towel that's over there?
Dude, no, because I always bring I make sure I have my own. When I was younger, I played football. I used the back of my shirt like this. So the guy who tackled me was fucked.
All right. I'm completely grossed out now.
No, dude. Generation Iron, if you watch it, dude, fucking get some toilet paper for Christ's sake.
We might be onto something. You get a Velcro thing that you rip off. You use it, you rip it off, you throw it away. We might be onto something. I'm always thinking entrepreneurial. Crazy.
Hey, like I said, that's the coin of Lee Priest expression. On After Hours, anything goes. Guys, we're out of time. We'll see you next week.
Good night.